What's up, guys? I'm here today with Sam, the CEO of Grounded RV. This is a completely different tour, something you guys have never ever seen before, because sitting behind us is an all-electric RV, and we're going to be uncovering it. There's some really cool, innovative stuff in here that a lot of other people are not doing. So, Sam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Sam. I'm the CEO and founder of Grounded. We build fully electric modular camper vans and actually also commercial vehicles. So we do mobile medical vans, mobile dental, pet grooming, mobile offices, electric food trucks. We really can do a variety of use cases. Basically, the sort of core innovation or technology that we have is really this modular platform. And so that's sort of the modular furniture and modules that go inside for all these different use cases. And then also the software that we have that powers the Grounded Plus mobile app and fleet dashboard, which allow you to remotely monitor and control basically everything inside the vehicle.
That's awesome. We're going to dive much deeper on what modularity means and all the specific specs about this. But the first thing I want to highlight is the chassis, because this is a chassis we've literally never seen anyone building inside before. So you want to talk to us about what this even is?
Yeah, if you want to show the front too, it does look like pretty different than a lot of other chassis out there. We got a couple sitting here. This is the Chevrolet BrightDrop. It's a 286 mile range electric cargo van. And it was actually originally designed by GM as sort of like the last mile delivery van. Obviously, we have taken this platform and opened it up to a whole lot more things than the last mile delivery. But what's actually like really cool and interesting about how they developed this chassis, I could just sort of quickly summarize. They spun up a subsidiary. So it was sort of the advanced engineering group at GM created this platform to address a market need that they saw, sort of within electrification of last mile delivery, develop the product. And then normally at that point, it would sort of get assigned to, in the product development lifecycle, get assigned to the Chevrolet brand or the GMC brand. But basically they said, we're going to make a whole new brand. We're going to call it BrightDrop. It's going to actually be a separate entity than GM. And they ran that business as a separate business for I think about 3 or so years. But now they bought it back into GM and it's under Chevrolet.
Awesome. So the first concern everyone's going to have about this is that you're going RVing, you're going Vanlifing. You want to be able to go far away, maybe travel to different states. This is electric, and it also only has a 286 mile range. So can you speak a little bit about that and what the use case is, like who's buying these as Vanlife RVs?
Yeah, for sure. So a few things. One is, you say only, but this is by far the longest range electric van on the market. Not just so the 4D Transit's like 120, 130 miles of range. The Rivian, which people ask about all the time, is about 150 or so miles of range. The Mercedes e-Sprinter is about 220. So this at 286, and that's city highway combined. So city, you could get over 300 miles of range. So it's really the longest on there. But it's in terms of like the use case. So for RVing, sure, like definitely. Some people have range anxiety. I lived in a van, a camper van, of gas powered during COVID, and I went all over the country. So I know firsthand, if you're driving really far distances, that obviously the range could be not an issue, but definitely will slow you down. That being said, a few things to consider. One is most American RVers don't actually drive more than about 200 miles a day. And the really nice thing about these is that you can charge them overnight at a campground. So every RV park basically in America and every campground that has RV hookup has electrical hookups for RVs, because even gas-powered RVs need electricity at campgrounds. And so that infrastructure that already exists at thousands of campgrounds is 30 amp and 50 amp electrical hookups. So the really nice thing is you could take this to a campground and then you plug it into that, like you plug your vehicle into the 30 or 50 amp electrical hookup, and now you've got level 2 EV charging overnight. And so you've got a full 100% EV charge when you wake up in the morning. So you actually, if you're doing the camping thing, and you're going campground to campground and you're never going more than 250 or so miles in between campgrounds, you actually might never even need to stop at a fast charger anywhere. And then the other thing is, for all these other use cases like, mobile medicine or pet grooming, these sorts of services that we build for. This one's a medical, you guys should walk through this one too. It's a medical van. Then I think the needs aren't even as high from a range perspective.
Awesome. Yeah, and so you can charge this off in like Tesla chargers as well?
Yeah, so it's compatible with Tesla superchargers. Tesla's opened up the superchargers to third-party OEMs like GM You just need an adapter because the hardware on this is CCS. Grounded provides that adapter to all of our customers. It's not every single supercharger, but you can see in the Tesla app or a PlugShare app which superchargers are compatible.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we're gonna jump inside of this. Sam actually has to run. He's got a place to be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some.
We're in good hands with Nick. Yeah, we got through the inside and definitely talk about all the new materials, the raisable bed. We have a lot of exciting updates with the G3.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, great to meet you.
All right, guys, we are now here with Nick. He's the co-founder. Sam had to run. He had a flight to catch, but Nick is going to be giving us a tour of the inside of the grounded RV. As you can see here, smart modular electric vans. That's a lot. I mean, smart alone is a lot to uncover. Modular, we got to uncover. And then also the electric van part, which is where I want to continue. So obviously, this is an all-electric RV. You know, Sam told us the range on it. What's like the reliability on these things?
Yep, I mean, we've had no issues so far with the reliability. So in terms of electric van, typically, or EVs in general, far less moving parts means far less things that can go wrong. So you think of all the different components in a nice vehicle that can brake and slow down and just cause you grief. The EV basically is about 10% of those parts, if not less, and far less things would go wrong.
How long has GM been making these chassis?
We're in about 3 or 4 years they've been working on these and releasing them. So we've started on 2023 model years, and we've worked on 24, 25, and now 26s are coming later this year. So we're super pumped for it.
Awesome. That's really cool. So obviously the main use for these, for at least GM, was commercial. You guys took it, and you're definitely applying it to commercial, but you're also applying it to RVing, which is really cool. How long does the battery on these usually last?
So the GM warranty, I think the battery is about 5 to 7 years, and depending on the mileage. So it comes with our upfit. It still keeps all the standard GM warranties. We make sure we're not spoiled any of that. So there's bumper to bumper warranties, there's high voltage battery warranties, and make sure everyone's take care of. And now far more GM service centers are being BrightDrop certified to make sure that people all around the country can get their G3s and BrightDrops serviced by GM if need be.
Okay, awesome. How long is this?
This longer one we're looking at, the Zevo 600, is 24 feet long, and then the shorter Zevo 400 is 20 feet long.
Okay. So just like the Sprinters and the Ford Extendeds, like this one won't fit in a parking space, but they do have another model, which is probably the same thing, just shorter, that would fit into a parking space.
You're right, exactly. And we can take a look at the smaller one later on that we haven't outfitted yet, but exactly that. It's got a Foxer feel, so you can get more interior space, but as far as exterior driving, you take about the same space as any Class B van.
Awesome. And then what's the maintenance like by these?
Barely any. I mean, you're not having to do kind of refilling isolation stuff. We just grab and go. So it's recharging. If anything comes, you can very quickly serve yourself. Things like washer fluid, but that's about it.
That's awesome. Well, let's jump inside. The first thing I want to talk about is this door, because pretty different as compared to...
Pretty different, yeah. So being a GM van and delivery being your original UCS, we've got these sliding doors. So pretty sweet. We've got big old windows here. You'll see when we step in an insanely big windshield for natural light, but these clip in and stop you needing any extra space when you're in your parking spot, which is awesome, and just lets you hop in and out super easily in a campground.
Let's jump in. Yeah, so the first thing kind of coming in here, the cab is super, super spacious. I mean, you could easily fit a single bed up here, it feels like. Someone could sleep up there if you really want.
Absolutely.
That's how spacious.
I mean, we've had people talk about all sorts of things like dog beds in here, beer coolers, or as you say, getting someone to just chill up front when you're camping out, and you can do whatever you want.
What would you compare the driving speed? Is quite typical for a Transit, or does that feel different?
I'd say it feels massively different. You've got electric torque is just crazy. So we actually took this on a trip where we had an ICE vehicle. It was a Ram ProMaster Class B van following us. And the guy driving that said, you guys were just pulling away from us every time we left like the traffic light. And you weren't even trying. So you've got a lower center of gravity, which is super nice for a smooth ride. You've got much more torque. So even without trying, it just pulls away fast. And say you're going onto a highway, you're just straight up to speed with traffic. And then being GM, it's got all of the stuff like Android Auto, it's got Apple CarPlay, so you get your tunes blasting, you get your maps, and it's super easy to drive.
Awesome. And what's the clearance on these vans? Are they suitable for off-roading?
It's about 7.5 inches, so we've definitely taken it off-roading. You're not going to be doing any rock crawling or Jeep stuff, but as far as going up steep hills with that electric torque I mentioned, it crushes it. So loose gravel, going on random dirt tracks and going through some random off-road bumps, you'll be totally fine. Yeah.
Which is what most people are doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's definitely people who go full out, and obviously there's other chassis for them, but most people want to go campground to campground, visit national parks. So as long as you can plan your trips according to the range, it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're doing anything remotely on-road or loosely off-road, you'll be totally fine. If you're looking at lifted suspension and crazy stuff like that, then not the van for you right now.
What's the cost of one of these?
So for the entire outfit, we sell it as a finished product. So we source the vehicle and we do our outfit. You can look later on our kind of customized configuration tool, but we start at 165,000 per camper vans, and we have 3 tiers, so 165, 180, and 200.
These are some many, please.
Trying.
And so some people watching, they like to DIY. So can someone buy this from GM directly, or do they only sell?
You can buy your own BrightDrop for sure from GM. So we've had people source their own with discounts and rebates and bring it to us directly, and we'll upfit those. And we've had a lot of people ask as well, like, why don't I just buy my GM van and upfit it myself? And my answer to that typically, we're not by any means your standard outfitter. We've got ex-SpaceX team. We've got a whole ton of electrical engineers and mechanical engineers that have spent the last 2 years honing our design to basically make this the smartest, most kind of high-end modular build and find it.
Yeah. And there's obviously no boilers because you guys have an incredible team. DIYing is great, but obviously it's a lot of recipe. You have to be very hands-on. That thing. This year.
And actually being a high-voltage battery, you want to be
careful with that for sure. Exactly. Okay, awesome, man. Let's jump inside. Let's get a tour.
Yeah. So coming in here, first of all, it feels very spacious. What's the height on this?
So we've got over 6.5 feet of interior room. So you're a tall guy like myself. This is probably the only Class B van I can comfortably stand up in and not crouch and dodge stuff. So 6.5 interior height, and then with those 9-foot wide exterior walls, we've got a ton of space to spread around in as well.
How tall are you?
I'm 6.5 feet. So you can see no crouching, standing up nice and tall.
Yeah.
I can spread out and own the space well.
And it feels spacious, right? Like it's easy. Like I can be working here. You know, he can get around me pretty easily. So yeah, I can.
There's elbow space to walk around, essentially, right?
We want to make sure you can cook and clean. You're not having a one-way system here. So as you say, you can have someone getting dinner ready and the other person helping in and out. You can have kids playing or people showering and getting ready to go to bed as need be. And you're not going to be bumping in and getting mad at everyone in your family.
Exactly. Let's start with a tour of some of the features and layout that you guys have going on in here.
You want to come over here? Let's start it. Yeah. So, I mean, again, everything being modular, this is the layout we've chosen to fix. So starting off with a ton of cabinetry. So we've got real effort into our lovely drawers here. So loom hinges, really nice soft close, and magnets to keep it closed when you need. This one was spec to have a pantry as we pull it out, and you can store mugs, tea, and coffee. And then, of course, having a nice door that you can't really see, but clothes rail to keep all your clothes nicely done. And we've got lighting and things like that in here as well to make it as usable as possible. Going back here, this is our specs wet room. So everything comes with a shower if you pick the wet room module, and then you can choose your choice of toilet. This one's the dry flush that we love. We have no black tank whatsoever in any of our grounded builds. We think it's just so much more cleaner to do it this way and not worry about smells or messes when you're unloading and trying to refill it. So that's our direction of choice here. And then you can see our kitchen modules here as well. So sink that stows away to get as much counter space as possible. We've got a nice big, larger fridge in the G3 now than the G2. Microwave and induction stoves on this one. And then you can see behind Sammy here our seating for about 8 people that can turn into a bed, and then a second raisable bed that is above in there as well. We can do a little tour of the raisable bed coming up and down.
That's nice. It's very quick.
Nice and quick, nice and smooth. So the engineers did a good job on that one for sure.
Yeah. How do people typically get up on this? Because I'm not seeing a ladder.
So there's no ladder in this one right now. For this exact module, the idea was that it lowers down. You can lower the table, and then it fills either side of that to be a California King, actually. If people want it to be a kind of bunk bed situation, where we're working on a ladder that would just pull out and let you have 2 people above and below, so you get 4 people total.
So this is essentially a place for them to just kind of hang out.
Absolutely.
There is what you would.
So instead of it being just a transformer bed the whole time, a lot of people like myself are lazy and just want to keep all the bedding just ready to go at the end of the day. So you can have that stored later for the evening, and then once we're hanging out during the day, chill out, have our meals, do our work. We've got Starlink console on the roof, so it's great for just posting up and taking meetings as much as you want.
That's awesome. So what is storage for like bikes and gear, maybe skis, golf clubs? What does that look like? Is there options for exterior boxes like there are in a typical chassis? Or?
We don't have boxes yet. Our team's always working on new modules that we think will be cool and also that customers request. We have done exterior bike racks before. This one's our transforming bed, but we've also got a fixed bed that you could store the bikes underneath that one. The customer just saw us the other day and requested that one.
Can you tell us a little bit about the design and how, obviously you guys have a modular layout. Let's talk about what modularity means. Let's talk about how customers can configure the layout on their own to meet their needs and their lifestyle.
Absolutely, yeah. So the starting point for most grounded builds would be our online configurator tool. So customers will go to that and you can basically step by step click your way what you want. So you can you start off your Zevo 600 chassis, the longer one we're in today. And your first protocol will be like, okay, what do you want in this set area? So we originally were looking at a drag and drop system. We've now decided to do choosing what you want in your specific area of the build. So this part rearwards would be bed. It's just a case of what bed do you want? You've got your kitchen area here. Do you want it to be storage? Do you want it a modular fridge? And that's how you kind of choose what gets you the most value for your build. And then our team, having all of those parts ready to go means we can really quickly, we're not doing a kind of new engineering work every single build. We'll have that ready to go. We cut the parts in-house, we assemble the modules, and then we get those installed to the van for a kind of 90 to 120 day delivery timeline.
Cool. So these modules, once they're installed, they can't really be removed, correct? Or
Correct.
one of those modular things
Yeah.
we can change it.
Right now, they're more fixed. So we think of it as extreme modularity for that kind of customization and ordering process, but in a step towards long-term durability and making sure this is a vehicle that's amazing for you for decades rather than months.
Yeah.
We don't have a design to kind of install in and out right now.
Absolutely. And that makes sense. Obviously, that helps with production. It helps lower the cost for the customer as well. It makes it more efficient for them. And things can be a lot higher quality, tested, and et cetera, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about the bed. So on the modular, design, what do you guys call it? Configurator tool. What if someone didn't want a dinette? They just wanted either a fixed bed or maybe this type of elevator bed so they can use this space to maybe put their bikes and things like that.
Yep. I mean, as dead simple as possible. It literally just says, beds. Do you want dinette? Do you want fixed bed? Do you want raisable bed? So they would literally just click that. If you pick the fixed bed, for example, you'd be in that kind of cheaper tier. So that's the 165K price point. And then as you go through, if you wanted to choose different modules, you can go through and pick whatever needs your needs for that build, basically. Yeah.
That's awesome because that's very helpful for people. Because, for example, if you're looking at this layout, you're like, where am I going to put my bikes? You know what I mean? Where am I going to store my stuff? Not everyone likes to store it on the outside. I know you guys have things coming out for that, but you get to decide what you want and what you don't want, and you get to choose the layout that you want in here. I love this type of layout with the lift bed and the dinette because you got an area to hang out. Yeah, so obviously sometimes people are traveling with families. I think this is a great layout for families. By the way, does this convert into a bed as well?
This one does, yeah. So this table will lower and it fills that space. We've got a couple extra pieces that pull out here to fill that gap.
I can see this.
Yeah, you can see the rails taking it, and then these cushions were designed to fill that space perfectly.
Awesome. Cool.
This will be the California King, and then above you, you've got the full bed too.
Awesome. So in this specific layout, you could comfortably sleep 4 adults if you wanted to. However, you can only seat 2. So my next question to you is, what if someone wanted to seat 4 adults legally with seatbelts as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we're super delighted to say that now shipping from any customer that orders from this point onwards will receive or can spec rear seating. And again, it's just that modular approach. So you could choose to allocate the space to rear seats here, and it would be a double seatbelted seat facing forward. And that would be your 4 adults securely seatbelted in going forward.
Awesome, man. And how long are these beds? I mean, you're 6.5 feet. You said, can you sleep on these?
I'm 6 feet. I can, yeah. It's just a standard full mattress. So it's the exact same way you sleep on a full or a queen at home. And the same with the California King. It's just the standard California King dimensions to be a nice big bed to space out. Awesome.
And I know with like Sprinters and Ford Transits, people like to sleep, they call it east to west, Sprint is a north to south, which that's what this is, front to back. Is that possible in a chassis like this? I don't know if there's flares or anything like that.
So there's no flares in this one. The reasoning for the one up top, you'll kind of see our chamfered ceilings right now. So that's what makes us want to go north-south and keep it that direction. And then it was also a decision on how we make the modularity work. We kind of spent a lot of time working out the best breakpoints and how to organize it. And we've actually made it so the north-south bed just goes beyond the wheel wells. And that makes all of the different pieces connecting to each other much more simple.
Okay, that's awesome. We need to talk about materials. We need to talk about electrical. And also insulation. Let's start with electrical. As we were walking in, I saw a control panel on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's how you can control it with switches.
Absolutely. So we've got our kind of grounded electronics box up there that's got everything from inverters to switches and all of the connectivity that's needed to both keep our Starlink running and also connect to the Grounded Plus app. So we've got an amazing app that uses both Bluetooth or 4G. So wherever you are in the world, you can control things like lights. You can turn on your hot water heater. So if you're coming back from a hike, you can have your hot shower waiting for you. All that stuff to really make it the smart part of the smart modular electric vans.
That's really cool because surprisingly, even though we're in 2025, not a lot of manufacturers have actually implemented, phone control with their electrical system. I'm sure they have the reasons for it, right? Maybe it's compatibility with the parts that they're sourcing from different manufacturers. But it's really cool that you have it. And that's one of the first things I noticed. We walked in here off camera. The AC was kind of loud. You pulled up your phone and in a second you turned it off. And I was like, what just happened?
So that's magic right there. I mean, it's exactly that. It's all about how can we've got the benefit of starting from scratch really as a company that started up a few years ago. We're not tied into the old way of thinking. So it's like, okay, in this new world, we've got smart homes. How do we make this a smart home wheel? It's like, I want to be in bed. I don't have to get up or lean and find a switch. Just do it with my phone. Like, I want full control. I get full diagnostics and on the app as well. You can see what your power draws are. So if you have Starlink on and you're not using it anymore, you can see exactly how much of your battery it's using and decide, hey, why have I got this on? I can just turn off Starlink for the night and maintain as much of my house battery as possible.
Yeah. So how much battery power is in here?
So again, modular the name of the game, so you can spec in 5 kilowatt increments. So this one's a 10 kilowatt hour house battery, and in combination with a 173 kilowatt hour vehicle battery, you can either use the vehicle battery to keep charging up your house battery if you want, or you can keep those systems separate so you have no worries about accidentally draining your range if you don't want to.
So what would that be in amp hours to compare?
I don't know in terms of, what do you mean by amp hours?
Like in terms of battery capacity, because some people measure it in amp hours, some people do kilowatt hours, right? But why?
I'm very used to kilowatt hours. Definitely electronics is the most strong point, so I can get Anthony, our guy, to hop in on that one. But I will know in terms of living in it.
Yeah.
It keeps you going off grid for kind of 2 to 3 days of using your vehicle as you normally would.
Awesome.
And then if you want to pull in things like solar depending on where you are, obviously, solar to extend that range, and using the vehicle now as well, you can confidently do complete off grid for like a week in this vehicle with no issues.
Okay, cool. In a typical Ford, Dodge, Mercedes, they'll usually use the alternator to charge up the batteries. I don't think there's an alternator in this.
It's not in this one. Our recent addition is a Sterling charger. So we basically plugged that in to connect our house battery system to the BrightDrop system. And then again, with controlling that grounded app, you can choose on or off, and it either literally uses the BrightDrop battery to recharge your house battery, or you can choose not to do that.
Okay, cool.
Completely flexibly.
So when you're charging the BrightDrop chassis, does that also charge up your batteries?
Not directly. So we've got for charging your house battery, you've got the shore power that's got a separate connection point outside the vehicle here. You've got the BrightDrop that you can do kind of if you want to, and then you've got the solar. For the BrightDrop itself, there's a CCS port, and then you can use any kind of CCS fast charging or charging at home. And then also we've got a Tesla supercharger adapter included with every van as well, now that GM has access to that system.
Awesome. Anything else for solar electrical to cover?
I think that covers it. I think we're pretty good. So yeah, main things are just that customizable battery option. Again, solar or house or vehicle or shore power. I think that keeps you rolling pretty good.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about insulation. I like the design of your windows. I think this is the bug screen at the bottom. Yeah. And this is the shade at the top. I love that it's integrated because it just makes it so much more convenient. You don't have to walk around with those flappy things and figure out where to put them.
Absolutely.
And then it looks like you guys got the awning style window, which could probably be left open during rain as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So it clicks open and it can hold itself in multiple different positions. And as you say, double pane acrylic, keep you nice and insulated there. And we've made a real push to get bigger windows in this van to get essentially 360-degree viewing with that window that is optional in the back, and then also seeing through to the massive windshield in the front. You can get pretty great views wherever you park up.
That's awesome. And then I know the shell of this van is different than a typical, again, Mercedes Dodge or Ford Transit. So what material are they using? Is that better in terms of insulation at all? Or
so yeah, compared to the shell of like a Ram ProMaster or a Sprinter that's just a metal shell, GM uses aluminum rails for the structure, and then they have GM's kind of proprietary composite material as the outer walls. So that's pretty thin and flexible. So that's one of the reasons we add our own interior structure frame that we mount all of our components and furniture to. And then we also add our insulation foam in between that to really insulate the walls.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit more about the materials being used inside of this.
Yeah.
Because it looks kind of different, especially the cabinets here. I know when you open the knife.
Oh, yeah.
Hunting.
Real big push coming from the G2 to G3 to improve the materials, both for weight, durability, and aesthetics. You can see there a kind of our new kind of space
aluminum.
Yeah, exactly. Aluminum tubing, very aerospace inspired. So we've got the aluminum tubing for structure and mounting, and then the plastic that's recycled plastic for all the walls that come in different designs and aesthetics. So they actually use the materials to inform the aesthetics. So this one we can kind of see the neutral tones of the grays and whites. And that's like 3D filament spools that have been remixed into this material. We also have much more colorful ones that use North Pole caps of reds and greens and blues to kind of take that material into the aesthetic to just add sustainable going.
So what are the benefits of using something like this as compared to what manufacturers typically use?
We think, well, one big thing is the rigidity and durability. Another thing is grounded, obviously being EV van makers and pushing this sustainable aspect. We love the story of taking materials into kind of a second use and repurposing that into this sheet material to put in our vans.
Awesome. And then this wood, is it wood? What
yeah,
is material?
So it looks like it. It's got that lovely wood cabin effect, and I see Nadia grinning behind camera because she works super hard to source this, but it's a wood-like sustainable alternative that's actually made from rice husks. So it's rot resistant, more durable, but keeps that amazing aesthetic, and basically means we're having a sustainable, more durable improvement over the wood that we used before.
Mm-hmm. When you're driving, down the road, down the highway, Is there a lot of sound with things moving around in here?
There's no back here. So, I mean, loose things obviously are going to move around. So if you've got loose places, those will move in anything. We're actually working on kind of creating clever ways of keeping those secure inside. But no, our team's done a great job of insulating the back of this van and building everything super rigid so that it's all completely silent back here. And you've also got that really tough metal sliding door. So whatever sounds are back here, I didn't even you always close that and seal it off. So when you're driving, you don't hear anything back here. Or vice versa, if you're shot. Want your privacy or security, we can close to give you some peace of mind.
That's really cool. So in these chassis, you guys don't really do the swivel seats?
Correct, only to the right. Yeah. So it's a request we get a lot. The way you use it is bosses either side of that door are load bearing, so on the mirror cars, so that's really what that would need to be cleared out for those swivel seats to have effects. Got it.
Awesome. Can we take a look at the electrical system and the batteries you guys have in here, or?
We don't have them out and visible. We can talk through if you have any kind of questions about that. You can take a peek at our EUB if you want to see.
Yeah, let's look at that.
So this is our kind of EUB box that slides out for easy maintenance. So you can see things like Shelly's here. Wiring going everywhere to all the different components here, and all of these kind of feed into giving us diagnostics, and we can see what's working, what's not. It allows us, if, you know, in the rare case something's not working on a customer vehicle, wherever they are in the US, we can tune in and say immediately, this is not getting feedback. I know what this is. Our team can diagnose it, and we can either send a remote technician to them to fix that, or we can remotely diagnose it ourselves.
What kind of warranty do you guys give for the entire chassis or the?
So our entire work is the grounded 1-year warranty, and that covers everything. We've done all of our workmanship, and whatever happens, we can remotely work with you to fix it, or we'll actually send out one of our team members or source a remote technician to fix it for you. So whether that's something serious like switching out cabinetry and fixing anything there, or if it's just getting on the phone with us and us saying, yeah, we're doing a remote reset to get your lights working, it's a 1-year warranty for all of our work. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the GM warranty that covers everything else from bumper to bumper warranty and high voltage batteries.
And so obviously you guys also have a shower in here. Now about a sink. I forgot to ask how much water is stored. How many gallons?
So we've got a 20-gallon freshwater tank and a 20-gallon gray in this one right now. Those are being fine-tuned and again have a bit of modularity going on. But for this one, 20 and 20 to keep you rocking. And we've also got a city water hookup. So if you want to pull up at a campground that has city water hookup, you can be showering as long as you want.
Awesome. People, I notice, have very specific preferences for the type of toilet they want to use.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to opt out of the dry flush and go with another option, is that possible?
Totally fine, yeah. I mean, again, as an approach to building, we don't do the black water tanks, but we also offer the dual co-eco toilet. We've got 3 options on a configurator tool, and we're always getting people, as you mentioned, like, this is the one I want to use. Can you integrate that? And we'll kind of see what we can do there.
Awesome, man. Let's take a look at the exterior.
So again, as mentioned, things like the exterior awning being an option here. So this one's a 9-yoke rank awning, and it can come with Dickenburden awning only or awning with the side, side covers for windbreakers and stuff like that. All of our vans come with the option of having a styling station on the roof, for instance, wherever you go, and they all come. This one's got 1,000 watts of solar on the roof as well, so you can plug it away.
Let's talk about the tires a little bit. These are the stock ones, Firestone tires from GM.
Yep.
Is there option to upgrade these if they?
Right now, we're not offering any different tires. I mean, again, if it's a customer vehicle, and you're welcome to do as you please with it, but we're not offering any different tires right now or suspension upgrades or things like that.
Okay. And so what is this little hookup?
So here we've got an exterior outlet. So again, you're jamming and you want some speakers out here if it's a work van, or if you want to plug in induction stoves and you get some camping going. For the exterior outlets on both sides, and as we walk around, we'll see things like the vehicle charger itself or the short power door. That's the.
And this bumper comes stock with
this bumper, this little step up here comes stake of the vehicle. Yeah, it's good for chiller. And then people use this as a bank as well, we see.
Yeah. And another thing that's different about this is instead of having 2 doors that open up, you just got one big one.
Yeah, this is a big one. So the engineer, as stock, it actually came with a garage door that rolled up into the roof. That had 2 main problems. A, it's notoriously hard to insulate a garage door. And B, we would have to lower our ceiling at the rear to account for where it slides up.
Yeah.
This move to a thicker insulated flip out door means we get the height back. So if you choose to not have a raisable bed, you've got that 6.5 foot ceiling all the way down. Or if you do want a raisable bed, that's what allows us to have a space for it now. And then again, you've got a much more insulated rear door that can have the option for the window in the back as well, which is also stuff.
And then the BrightDrop chassis has all the standard cameras, like blind side assist
cameras. You've got the 360 kind of top-down view when you're reversing. It's got parking assist. It's got cruise control when you indicate. It's got blind spot monitoring, and the screen actually shows you with the cameras either side of you as you're switching lanes. So super, super comfortable to drive vehicle of this size. That's all. I know there's no difference basically between my Warrior driving this versus a car. It keeps you controlled, yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's take a look at this side.
And then over here again, another exterior outlet for plugging in your stuff. Got water fill point here that lets you hook up either city water, or hook up a hose to fill up your tanks. And then here, the big difference from other RVs will be CCS charging port that lets you fill it up either charging at home with level 1 or level 2 charging, or as Sam mentioned earlier, going to level 3 charges for fast charging out about. There's all sorts of different things, whether it's your Tesla supercharger network or high voltage chargers at things like Walmart's and Myers now. So really great options there for high voltage charging.
How long does it take to charge it up from, let's say, 0?
So charging speeds vary depending on the charger you actually find, but typically it's about an hour and a half at from 20% that you send to a level 3 charger.
How much would it be on like a supercharger?
And about an hour and a half as well, yeah. And then last but not least, our shore power hookup there. So that's the third way of charging your house battery up front.
This is the shore power. If this is a shore power at a campground or something, you just plug yourself in and it'll charge the interior of the van, basically the lights and everything right out of it. Yeah. And that one is different because that charges the chassis. So now that we're adding, this is an electric van, you got both hookups. And so I forgot what you said. Can this charge the batteries of the van as well?
It can, yeah. So we've made a recent addition to this thing called a Sterling charger we've added, and then with the app you can choose whether or not you want to basically suck power from the vehicle battery and put it into your house battery or not. So you're in full control of that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us a tour, Nate. Yeah, appreciate it. This is incredible, guys. This is something we've never seen before. And obviously, as technology continues to advance as it does, these are only going to get better and better. And the future is definitely electric. Everything is kind of heading that way. Obviously, there'll probably still be gas and diesel options available, but it's going to be really cool to see these getting more and more range over time to where you can actually go across the country completely inside of an electric RV. Yeah, so that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, us too. We're excited. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Take care. Yeah.
There was consecutively problem after problem after problem. My dream has been nothing short of a disaster.
Don't let your van life dreams turn into a nightmare. There's just one hidden truth that decides if you'll get your dream van or one that'll leave you stuck in service centers instead of national parks. But most people miss it completely, like Kristen, who thought that spending more money would mean better quality and experience. You'd think that you get what you pay for, right? Not always. Her new $190,000 van from a professional builder had things falling apart right after pickup. So many problems with the build that she ended up selling it, completely ruining her summer trip. Melissa and David thought doing more research would help them find the best quality van manufacturer and dealership. But even after spending 2,000 hours researching, their electrical system started smoking, ruining their first trip. Because here's the secret most don't know. Out of the 550 plus van builders and manufacturers in America, only 65 are certified. But when you know this secret and choose a certified builder, you get what you've worked hard for. The freedom to explore America's most beautiful places whenever you want, without unnecessary stress or breakdown stealing your precious adventure time. At the Dream Van Workshop, I'm covering exactly how to find these certified builders, plus revealing my step-by-step Dream Van plan and Vanalizer tool that matches you with your perfect van. Click the button below to claim your free ticket so you can avoid the costly van buying mistakes that so many make.